All right, and we live. So welcome to another podcast of with the ladies. First, we want to pay honor to one of the biggest influence, especially with our household. Um, the actor that portrayed Black Panther in the movie, Chad Boseman. We want to say that our condolences goes out to him, to his family as they go through this time. Of course, you guys know my husband is the biggest and hugest fan of Black Panther. Um, and a little known fact, Black Panther actually attended our wedding for my husband groom cake. Okay, so that's just how indulged we are with that character. Okay, so we wanted to start off with that. The next line, we want everybody to introduce themselves, and then the first topic I'm gonna hand over for Whitney to present.
Hey everybody, I'm Courtney.
Hi, I'm Clarice.
Hello, I'm Theronda.
And I'm Whitney. And the topic that Crystal is referring to, one that I saw a video about on Facebook this weekend, where a Black woman who is a social media influencer was discussing her feelings about how when Black women make comments on social media and people disagree with those comments, Black women get more for comments that people disagree with than any other racial or ethnic and gender combination of people do. And we had talked about the show before, Megan Thee Stallion's comments about Black women not being protected. So it's sort of related to that. But I wanted to get all of your opinions on whether you think the social media influencer who I mentioned is right, or if you think that people are just outright rude on social media in general these days.
Who want to start? So I watched the video that you present, and I actually listened to her podcast that she has. Me and my husband listened to it when we were traveling. I agree with her about how we have to be, as Black women, we have to be careful how we say stuff and how we move within the room. And so it's not fair that we have to think 3 times before we speak or say something to make sure that we don't offend someone when it seems like someone can just come off and say anything to us and we're supposed to accept it.
I would agree. I think that's definitely true in like social settings, and even more so in the workplace.
I would agree as well in the workplace. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with a guy today, and for me, for women in the military, period, as leadership, it's either we're weak or we bitches. Like I'm like, is there not an in between? Like, why do if I'm not outspoken, I'm weak, but if I'm outspoken, I'm a bitch. Like, hold up now, like can I just be a strong leader? My commander, who's a male, can cuss y'all out and it be okay, but if I do it, I am dead wrong for it. So yeah, we have to find that fine line. And it's a very fine line to figure out how to be outspoken and strong and not be one extreme or the other.
And to kind of piggyback on what you said about work, I struggle at times because if I voice my opinion, automatically it's whoa, 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 calm down, calm down. I don't want you to get upset. We're not trying to do all of that, when that's not even what I was doing. I'm just disagreeing with you, talking in a regular tone. My voice isn't raised, but because I guess, presume to have an issue with what you said, automatically you get defensive because you think that I'm getting defensive, and that's not okay. So it's like, I have to, like you guys said, um, think ahead. How can I say this without sounding like this, but also getting my point across? So it's frustrating, and it's irritating. But it's, as Black women, that's what we have to deal with.
I know for me personally, in a leadership role as well, I have found it advantageous because people do assume that you are getting an attitude or something like that just because maybe you don't have the same opinion as them, to point out a flaw in logic, or show my disagreement by asking a question. So that's a technique that I have kind of developed for myself. I just decided to start doing that over the years, and it works for me most of the time. So rather than like directly criticizing, because a lot of people don't take criticism well, even if it's constructive, I just ask a question like, well, would that not be different than what we did for such and such a few weeks ago? And especially in human resources, making sure that I'm objective and fair, to all employees and associates, that whether you like someone or not, they deserve the same treatment as someone else. So I do like to ask questions of people that make them stop and think about the solution, or the possibility that it is that they're offering. So I don't tell them they're wrong. I don't tell anybody that what they're saying is in direct conflict with what we've been doing. But I will ask a question. And I am the reply. If you reply all, you will get a reply all from me. It makes you look dumb. Because you.
Y'all, okay. So I didn't know this topic was going to come up, but I was just talking about this topic. And I know that it's very politically correct to say that we should be mindful of what we say and what we don't say. We should be always on our P's and Q's because we don't want to be perceived as, something else, or we don't want to be perceived as weak. However, as a woman of color in therapy, and as I am realizing that there are more and more Black women who continue to perceive that image, and they're internally dying inside. And so I'm going to say this. Black women are the largest population of educated women in this country as of right now. If we continue to allow others and what others perceive as us, we will not prosper as much as we can be. And the reason why is because we're always going to allow the white man and others to continue to say that this is what you should be or whatever. So I don't have that philosophy anymore of holding my tongue. I don't have the philosophy of saying what is perceived to be correct. If you do not like what I'm saying, I apologize that you don't like what I'm saying, but I'm not going to change my tone, nor am I going to change anything, because at this point in this time, I'm so sick. I'm sick and tired of you telling me how I should live my life, yet still you continue to prosecute the men of my life. You continue to do all this stuff, yet you don't listen to me. So I'm going to do what I need to do, what's best for my family, whether it's speaking out, whether it's not doing or not saying or code switching. I'm not doing any of that anymore. It's too much. It's too much. No more.
I will say I do agree with you, Theronda, when it comes to not apologizing. That's another thing that I don't do. If I need to apologize because I was wrong, or because I hurt someone or made an error, that's one thing. But if it's not something for me to apologize for, I refuse to do that with someone else. A lot of times my answer when someone expresses something that they don't like, with involvement with me, is it's unfortunate that you feel that way. However,
Yeah, I asked them, like, okay, so why is it that you feel that way? Is it that you don't like what I'm saying? Did I say something to you? Because personally, that's how I feel and things like that. And so, what is it that you do not like about what I said? What is it that you have conflict with? And that's what I asked them, because if they can't actually say that, like, oh, I don't like your attitude, or oh, I don't like what you're saying and why you're saying it, that's most of what they're saying. I don't like what you're saying because it offends me. But did you realize that what you just said to me offended me? Like when you say they, she, her, or things like that, who's they? Like, are you talking about, like, me? Are you talking about my culture? I don't understand these microaggressions, and I need you to explain that before I explain anything of what I said. So that's just my philosophy on that part.
To go a little further about things, a lot of times when I am faced with things in management, and they presume that I'm coming from a place of, the typical angry Black woman. If I can be honest with y'all, I am. I'm giving them all kinds of attitude because I'm frustrated, and I didn't hold my tongue too long, and so I have to get it off. I have to shoot it out. I have to voice my opinion. It's a lot of times I know I'm not going to win everything, but I'm going to try. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm keep standing up for what is right, because that's just how I am. And for me to do something different, it goes against me. It aggravates me. And that's not what I ever want to do. And then my thing is, I feel like as we are strong women and in leadership, I think that it shows the next generation of girls what to do, what to stand up for, what to speak for, what to tolerate, what not to tolerate. I think that sometimes when we saying no and we bowing down, we're not saying no just for us. We're saying no for the other ones that's coming up. We're saying no for whatever was laid down for us to get to that door to even answer it. So I think that we should speak up, and I don't think that we should change us for anybody. And you right, Theronda. Who are they? Who is she? I don't know. Tell me. And that's not angry. That's informative. I just need answers. And I need them now.
and that right there, what you just said, Crystal, is why I don't usually ask people what it is that they don't like. Because to be perfectly honest with you, I don't care. Like I said, it's unfortunate that you feel that way. However, this is what I have decided that we're going to do based upon policy, based upon procedure, based upon it just making sense and being right. If there's anything I can do for you to help make this transition a little easier, please let me know. Other than that, have a great day. Bye.
Clarice, go ahead.
For me, I think my biggest fear is coming off as the angry Black woman. Being able to be heard and being able to be articulate and not come off an angry Black woman because of the field I am in. And I don't know exactly what all of you all do, but I basically work with 70 white males every day. So my environment is different. So I have to be very mindful that when I say things, that it does not come off as the angry Black woman. Even when I'm angry, I have to be mindful of that. This is why when I'm at work, I am very calm until they make me not calm. If they don't move when I ask them to move, then we got issues. But as long as they're very compliant and doing what I'm saying, I am very calm. I don't yell at them. I don't raise my voice. I'm just like very mellow because I am very, like I said, I'm very cognizant of that. That's the perception. When I express my emotion, I'm either over emotional, I'm the angry Black woman. I'm like, okay, why I gotta be all that? Right? But I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. So I have to walk a very fine line.
But Clarice, if you are angry, you are a black
Clarice,
woman.
I have a question
You
for
can be
you.
an angry black woman.
Like, when you are you thinking of your emotional stability, or are you thinking of others? Because I think that when we do that, we forget that we are people and we are part of the system as well, and that like if we lose ourselves in the system and if we lose ourselves in doing what we're doing, then that affects the system as well. And so why can't we make sure that we're emotionally stable and articulating ourselves and expressing ourselves and asking those questions, rather than holding it inside and suppressing it, and then it come out in different avenues and different things in life that it doesn't have to be.
Okay, so I am concerned about the perception because you all know how they lump us together. If it's one, oh, it's all of us. Like, whoa, I ain't got nothing to do with her. But that is the perception. So I don't want to feed into the negative stereotypes. So I'm just saying, me personally, I am mindful of it, very mindful of that. So and yeah, there have been times where I've taken that anger from work in my personal life. I literally had to tell a guy, like, you know what? I don't want to be around men right now. Like, y'all just too much for me. He was like, can we hang out? No, I hang out with men all day. I don't want to hang out today. Because it just becomes too much. Like, your masculine energy too much. Theirs is too much. Like, it's just too much. I see you on Sunday after I done had a woosah day. So I literally started only dating on Sundays.
But when you say, you know what they think of us, or they link us together, we do it too.
I'm not disputing you. That you're absolutely right. We do it too, but I don't want to feed into it any more than it's already been done. Let me not add to it.
I will say that from what you just said, Crystal, and what you just said, Clarice, both of you, I think, are correct. But I think that the differences for us when they lump us together in that monolith of having a bad attitude and, not being team players or not being polite or cooperative, it can sometimes affect our jobs or our livelihoods. Whereas for, white men, especially, but men in general, it's a lot of times guys are, he's just a guy's guy, or boys will be boys. And it's like, well, how come, or even with white women, I know I've been in several workplace situations where even though it was a professional environment and a professional circumstance, this white lady's like crying, and it's like, it's okay for her to act like that at work, like be hysterical. And you're just like, and then I'm like awkward in those types of situations already. So I'm kind of like, like, it's hard for me to like make eye contact or like, I'm not the type of person that's like real huggy with people when they get upset. I'll provide tissues. I'm just not a really touchy person. That's just not me. But I feel like Clarice said, it's just important to be conscious of your behavior when you're Black, because everybody just assumes that you have a bad attitude and you're not going to be cooperative, and you're going to be mean, and you're going to be loud, and even that, why would I be crying at work? Like, we don't do that. But it's like, we have feelings too, but sometimes people don't recognize that. So I can understand why, like you said, Crystal, everybody generalizes about everybody else, but I think that the generalization about Black women is a little bit more harsh. And it's like, you can, you don't want somebody to say, oh, well, we would consider Clarice for this promotion, except she gets an attitude at our meetings. And it's like, well, I mean, how come everybody else is allowed to say what they don't like or what they don't think will work, or, what, doesn't make sense? Like, but when I say it, it's like, oh, well, calm down. You're like, I'm talking to you just like I talk any other time. But yeah. So
But sometimes we have to see those, and I feel like sometimes we have to see those as it was never our job to begin with. Some missed opportunities were never our opportunities. I'm just being honest. But how long do we supposed to pretend? How long are we supposed to know something is wrong and not say anything? Most people, most people talk, but they have no action. I'm not saying I should get mad flipping tables in the meeting. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, if I feel a certain way, I can have my own opinion and be entitled to my own opinion, and there be nothing to be said. Not everything happened with that. So the perception, I understand that. But how I threw with the Rhonda, how long do I walk around on myself with your perception? How long? How long do I carry your baggage before it breaks me down physically? Then I'm no good to anybody. Then I'm sitting up there locked up, hugging myself with a jacket in a padded room because I carried what you thought I should be.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
Sorry,
that,
guys.
right. I think that sometimes there's just a certain way to say things because unfortunately we have to be more careful than other people.
And that is absolutely true. We have to, just the nature of the beast. We just have to be a little bit more careful than other people. I actually had someone tell me the difference is when men yell versus me yelling, men versus me yelling, I can come off sounding squawky. I was like, wow. But another man can yell about the exact same thing and it be perceived differently. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's just like the cards that we were dealt. So,
I mean, it's really, it doesn't make it right, but it's really no different if you think about it, than like how a lot of Black people feel that they have to behave differently with police than somebody else who's allowed to do whatever they want to do with them. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality.
So, ladies, our next topic that we're going to wrap to is the topic of this week was everybody know Welcome to Sweetie Pies. It was a restaurant chain owned by mother and son worked there, where it was reported that the son Tim killed his nephew. The nephew was on a few episodes for a few seasons, and he had just transitioned to meet that side of the family. I do believe that was his paternal side of the family. And from there, a bond was formed with that side of the family. Ultimately, it was surprising that I think it was probably 2 seasons after he was introduced, they announced that he was killed. And of course, there was still an investigation. They had episodes dedicated to him and the family losing. They even showed a memorial service that they had, raising awareness to gang violence, and because the family at this time did not know. So there was raising awareness of protecting our boys, keeping them away from gang violence and things like that. And then we get hit with this information that it wasn't the gang that killed him; it was Tim. It was his uncle that hired someone, and they're constantly law enforcement is constantly arresting people that are involved. One was supposed to be some girl off the internet, some Instagram girl. One was a producer, a music producer guy from Nellyville. He was arrested with conspiracy due to the life insurance policy. They said that Tim had a life insurance policy on his nephew of $450,000. Then they recently discovered that Tim currently has a life insurance policy on his mother for over $1 million. It's been said that he has been in financial debt and ruin. He had one child already shown on television. He had currently just had another child with his fiance. He had bought multiple properties. He had opened multiple restaurants. In the season, I think in the season, you can see where him and his mom had butt heads about him and his financial issues, where he was constantly opening restaurants and the restaurants was failing. A couple of restaurants had to close because they did not meet codes. And then plus you got to think about the area and the room that we're in. People not coming to all you can eat buffet during COVID. So tell me guys what y'all think about it with the information that was given. Do you think that, I mean, tell me your opinion. I'm not, I don't want to put words, but tell me what you guys think about it.
Crazy. Like, what? Did all of this happen? Where was I? Did I miss something? I'm like, so you gonna get right here killing people?
It happened in years. You guys, I'm gonna be honest. Tim is shaped like, if you ever saw a man with boobs and man hips, that's how Tim shaped. I don't know. I just don't understand. One, his nephew was 21 years old. And you know, when you do life insurance policies, you know, you got to put in some factors. What's the child? The child was 21 years old and starting out. What did he really have the capital for 450,000? Right away, that life insurance policy to me would have been sketchy.
I mean, from my understanding, if you're purchasing on someone else, some companies don't have, real low limits, as long as the person who's purchasing has the income to make sure that they pay the premium. Then you can, I mean, it can be unlimited, or unlimited up to a certain cap. So apparently that must have just been a really high cap. But what's crazy to me is, like, if he was an adult, then that would have meant that he probably had to sign off for Tim to take out the policy on him. And if my uncle, cousin, whatever he is, him that I just met was coming to me about something like that, I'd be like, okay, it's time to go home. Like, it's like I would have been very suspicious. That's weird.
Actually, he did not have to sign for him. He didn't have to sign for the policy.
Wow.
The crazy thing about the whole ordeal is, so he did a murder for hire and got him killed, but he never cashed in the insurance policy, guys. This happened years ago.
Did we lose her?
I think we did.
I think so.
So he never turned in the paperwork to officially have it done. So he did the murder for hire and everything, but he never officially turned in the paperwork so the policy would be valid.
So he did all that plotting and scheming and still ain't got no money?
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
So
I can.
you did all of, and you still did not turn in the proper paperwork, so you couldn't cash in the policy. So now you have a deceased nephew, but then everybody now in the family is worried about the safety of the mother because he took out $1 million policy on her, and he's currently in the rear for all these businesses that he failed businesses he started, and he also owed for child support.
To me, it's just kind of stupid because everybody knows when you have a life insurance policy on somebody, if they die under any type of mysterious death, you know that it's going to be investigated. So I just don't understand why I don't understand why people do that. Take a insurance policy out on somebody and then have them killed or kill them and stuff, because you know it's going to come back on you eventually. People aren't like they used to be. People snitch. They're not like, it ain't like it used to be. So, you know, it's to me, it was stupid, and he deserved to be in jail. If he did it, he deserved everything that he did.
One of the creepiest things about the situation is when they arrested him, you guys can Google it. When they arrested him, he's smiling on his mugshot.
But I think, like Crystal said, he's always had something strange about him. And I know that his ex is on, I believe it was Basketball Wives that she was on. But even she used to talk about he's crazy, you know. I have a friend.
Williams.
Yes.
I think it was Jennifer Williams. She did date him, and she did say he was crazy.
Yeah. I have a friend, to your point, Crystal. I don't know what, maybe, I guess when you said that, when we first started talking about it, but she said he got a BMW. And as y'all may be familiar with, you know, that a lot of times is used as a term in reference to females that guys will say, with the body made all wrong, because like he got like a female body. So, like, my friend Kayla, I was like, okay.
He looking like a whole snack. He got everything them boys need.
I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, why the nephew? Like, what was the vulnerability to the nephew? Like, what did the nephew do to deserve this? Like, I mean, I think that there's always something about the nephew that, you know, is attracted, meaning like, is he vulnerable? You know, what was his father? Was his mother? You know, was he under his wing? So I just wonder, like, why the nephew? One, and two, I agree. Like, I think something's wrong with him. Like, there has to be something wrong with the guy. Maybe the nephew. This is just me. Maybe the nephew knew that he was, you know, on the DL. Caught him. I don't know. I'm just asking.
They said that he was jealous of the nephew and the bond that the nephew and the mother made. Because if you guys go back, if you ever watched the show, if you go back, he promised his mother once he got out of jail, because he was in jail. Okay. All right. So he used to it. Okay. All right. So he promised his mom when he got out that, you know, he'll change his life around and he'll help her with the family business or whatever. So he did that. Well, when this nephew transitioned to the family, and like I said, this was the paternal side. So of course they welcomed him with open arms and things. And so they started building him up and encouraging him. And he started doing a turnaround. So of course he's featured on here. So he went from nobody knew him to he featured on here to now he got a following behind him. And so people are like motivated to see him go far and everything like that. So it could be a jealousy thing, because a lot of times people act like they don't understand. Jealousy don't have to be a stranger. It can be your own family, your own blood. It can be siblings. I mean, didn't Cain kill Abel? So
I agree. I remember reading from several outlets at one point that Miss Robbie had started the restaurant chain, you know, after singing backup for Tina Turner and Ike Turner. One reason being that she wanted to leave a legacy to her son, and knowing that he had served time in prison, it was going to be difficult for him to obtain, you know, substantial employment when he got out. You know, she was trying to set something up for him, and you know, it's like, it's sad because this is how he's repaid her. I mean, I think she fully intended from the beginning for him to inherit, you know, her restaurant empire, and that's just not going to be possible now.
But I think she saw the green eye
It's really sad.
In him, that episode that she had to fire him. And she had to fire him during the episode in one of those seasons because it was money issues. The money wasn't adding up. He was going and taking large amounts of money and investing in things without talking to her. So I think she caught it early on. That's why she was like, let me get rid of him for I be broke. So I think that she caught it, along when she saw it and things was presented in front of her. But at the same time, you got to think about it. I'm his mother. I'm gonna make sure he's straight. But if things ain't making no sense, y'all, like, you got to go. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. And I'm still concerned about her health and things too, because you left a nephew that you thought was for a gun, lost a nephew that you thought was from, some stranger, some street gang, and come to find out, your son did it. And then he only had policy on 2 people. So he only had it on him, that's gone, and then you. So that has to play with you. That has to scare you, because it will scare me. Because people can say, oh, he's arrested. Just because he's arrested don't mean that he ain't already put something in action out here. So, all right, ladies. Okay. So, you guys know I watched the internet. And so one thing that passed across our screen was mega church pastor John Gray allegedly cheat on his wife again. You guys, as you know, I think it was like last year, you had this same thing in the news. You had where he was allegedly had mistress. The mistress was telling these bloggers. There was reporting. Then him and his wife had their anniversary. I think it was 8 years. I think it was. Had an anniversary. From that, he bought her the Lamborghini truck that was valued at $250,000. People were saying that he should have stepped down from the church. He should have healed himself. If that was something that was going on, him and her came out with a united front, saying that it was not him, it was that devil woman, and that devil wanted to take the church, and don't let the devil take the church. That's the enemy whispering in John's ear. He's not the enemy, not whispering in the grown John ear. He's whispering in a teenager, little child ear to John. And then after that, they was in the news again for basically the court issue between the previous owners of Redemption, wanting their building, their physical building back. And so now they're in that legal battle. And then now you have again the pastor, and on these videos, it's not a mistress talking, it's him talking to the mistress, and she recorded it. One of the video that really got to me, if you guys had time to look at it, please go and look at it. What really got to me, and I told my husband, like, I have to calm down, because that angry black woman people don't want to see came out. One of the videos, his son is in the car, and he's talking to the mistress, and he's telling the mistress, oh, my wife don't cook. And he looked back and he was like, son, what you eat every day? And he was like, pizza. That's right, son, because mommy don't cook. I mean, I got to honor her, but my son eat pizza every day. I wish you would be telling this mistress what's going on in my house. So, okay, let me calm down. Okay. So another video, he shows where he's at a private airport. It says a millionaire club or whatever. He's going on a private plane, and he tells the mistress, come with your 2-piece. We're going to Cambo. So now he said, you got an hour to meet me here. Then you got another video, because he couldn't stop at that. He had to keep going. He got another one where he is saying that he will cook for her. So for one video, you saying, oh, the wife don't cook. And in my mind, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm going to be obvious. He ain't missing no meals, okay? So one video, you saying your wife don't cook. Then the next video, you're saying, oh, I'm taking you on this exotic place. Then you got the third video where you say, oh, no, I'll cook for you. You come over, da-da-da. It also been rumored that he took his wife's car, because they have a house in Texas, took his wife's car to this owner's, to the mistress shop. She is a prominent hair dresser and a black business owner, and he drove the wife's car to her business. So y'all tell me what you think. about this going on.
I'm confused. So who videotaping this
So
stuff?
the videos is between him and the mistress, and she's recording.
Right, but who videotaped?
She's recording it.
Who did? Oh,
She's recording it.
people need to know their lane.
So I think we had this conversation. Crystal and I had this conversation about a year ago.
We did.
So told you he was going to do it.
You know, we let people. You know, the church folk.
Told you he was going to do it again.
You know, we fall down. You know, church folk will forgive a pastor, but won't forgive a mistress.
Yes. I actually I'm all for it, because I do believe he is a mere man, and I think that this is what continues to happen because, one, I told you her mistake, Aventure's mistake, was one, blaming that other woman. She should have never blamed that other woman. Her relationship is with John. Her relationship is not with that other woman. And so again, these patterns continue to happen. And the other woman was smarter this time. The other woman said, not today. You're not going to blame me for your husband's mistakes. I'm going to record it. And so
he sent her $200 too. I forgot that part. $200.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So is it the other woman's fault this time?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. You guys tell me what I want to get it out, and then I'm gonna let you guys know the update. But I
honestly think that he should. Honestly, I just think that he should just confess his sins and just be honest with the world. It's okay. Like, confess to your sins. Pray to God. There's grace and there's mercy in everywhere. But please stop blaming everyone else for your sins. Please stop it. Like, that's my concern. Like, you did it. Don't continue to blame all these other people, and don't just say I'm the one, because we know you're the one that got cheated on now. So I don't want to hear no more. I don't want to hear no more sermons talk about some I'm the one, because no, baby, no more. Because let me tell you, that sermon was good, but you're the one that's getting cheated on now, because we told you that this was happening, and now you allowed yourself to degrade another woman to make yourself look good, and now you looking like a fool. No,
the fact that he was talking to this mistress with your child in the back,
right? Disrespectful in so many levels.
You out here telling this Jezebel spirit that I don't cook. You knew I ain't cook when you married me. You better stop telling my business in these streets. That's what you better stop doing. That's what you better stop.
So let me pose this question, and I had a conversation with a guy friend last night.
You know what? You gonna stop with these conversations. That's what you gonna.
I be talking to everybody, girl. You know I'm friendly when I want to be. But what I'm saying is, my question is it once a cheater, always a cheater? Because see, he sound like he just got a problem. You know what I'm saying? So is that because my guy friend previously told me that he cheated on his girlfriend. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, stuff happened. And then he was like, oh yeah, and then so you cheated on her twice? I'm like,
so he don't want to be with her.
That's what I say.
Just leave her. If what you looking for is not there, go there.
I agree, but so that's my question. Do you all think, speaking of John Gray, is once a cheater, always a cheater?
I think that, like Crystal said, he's not happy. Me personally, I think he likes men. And he's using these women as this little cover-up thing. But that's just me, because I'm extra. You know, you really don't hear nothing about them.
I got no pearls to clutch. Let me pearls.
You don't hear about no sex. You hear emotional affair. You hear FaceTime. You don't hear about no sex. So I just think that he prefers the peen. He don't want no vagina. So if that's what you want, go ahead and go be with him. Stop dragging your wife through all of this. Stop dragging your kids through all of this. Go ahead and be with the dick, because that's what you want. That's not what the Lord wants for you. Repent and do all of that. But the bottom line is he not happy, and he gonna continue to cheat. He's gonna continue to do whatever he want to do because he's not happy. And until he can get it together within himself and be honest with himself, he's never going to be happy. So he does need that time to heal and regroup and figure out what he needs to do, because you have kids that are looking at you now. You have
you have a whole
I can't remember. Did you have daughters?
And you guys, me and Theronda is correct. We talked about this when I was living in Massachusetts, and one of the things that that I think we got caught up on that part. We didn't talk about the congregation. This congregation is the same congregation that sat under the previous husband and wife, where the wife was cheating on the husband, and she had to go to sex therapy, and so she had to step down from her position to go to get help. Okay. And then when she came back or whatever, everything was fine. And then they moved their church Redemption to California. So you got the same people that's sitting in the same building, that the leaders having the same spirit.
So
I
don't know.
Throw it away. You know what I'm saying? I would say throw the whole thing away, but you can't. Wouldn't be godly, right, Theronda?
I don't know much about John Gray. I don't. I've read he has a book, and I've read his book. Make sure y'all look at the comment at the bottom. I've read his book. So what is it about him that we think he's into men? Because again, I don't know much about this man. Like, I don't know much about his church or anything.
I mean, go ahead, Courtney, because I didn't see.
Okay, I guess because of what I do, I come in contact with a lot of men. I'm gonna be real quick. I deal with sexually transmitted diseases at work. So my line of work, I see a lot of gay men come in and stuff like that. And because of that, I also see a lot of down low men. And about half of those down low men are pastors. So I pick up on different mannerisms and just different things like that. So just watching his show, I didn't watch it all the time. Watching his show, I just see just different mannerisms and just different things that kind of make me kind of just think about things like that. And then just in my opinion, for the fact that there has never been any sex allegations, it's only been talking allegations. I don't know, all these basketball players, football players, celebrities, when they get in a cheating scandal, there's naked photos of the man, so-and-so has sex with so-and-so. Ain't nobody has sex with his ugly self. Nobody has had sex with his Mr. Potato Head self. So that to me even proves it more. Well, I shouldn't say proves it, because, you know, that's between him and the Lord. But to me, that seals it for me, that it's a possibility he may be on a down low, and his wife probably knows about it, but she's still getting paid and she's going to still do what she do. So that's just my theory.
All right.
I will say that she is correct when it comes to that. Men who are down low do tend to cheat and do tend to have multiple women in their lives in order to mask the fact that they're on the down low. That is an identity crisis. That is a characteristic of it. So I will say that I'm not saying anything about him being on down low, but I'm just saying that what she said does statistically match what down low men do. But I will say this also, the congregation is part of this concern as well, because the congregation continues to put him on a pedestal instead of saying, like, you need to be judged or something needs to happen because of your actions. What they did was they actually put it on display, made a big sermon about it, made a big fuss about it, and forgave him. And not only did they forgive him, but he had no consequences or anything of that such. And then, like, there was no repercussions. And so this is you're gonna condone the behavior, and allow him to continue to do that unless something happens. That he didn't even have to go, he didn't even get deemed any sexual addict or anything like that. They just honestly was like, we're going to forgive him. He's okay. His wife forgives him. We should forgive him and things like that, rather than saying, okay, this has happened. How do we address it? How, what needs to happen? And address it as a congregation and have some consequences to it. There was nothing.
I agree with you. Like I said, we're in Greenville. We have attended the church. And my thing is, you have to be careful. Where do you sit under your leadership, your spiritual leadership? And you're right. A lot of people in the congregation was like, oh, because this is one of the things. If I can say what I'm gonna say freely, I'm so tired of people blaming the devil on everything. You are creatures of nature. You did it, but the devil made nothing. I think we give him too much credit instead of just saying, I wanted that and I did it, knowing that it's consequences or it's seen as wrong. So with that, I agree that they said more of, oh, it was the mistress, or the mistress was coming for the church, and this, that, and stuff. Let's just face what it is. You are a broken man. Okay? The church is supposed to be a hospital for the sick. Okay? It's not to mask the sickness, it's to pray and treat the sickness. And then you have to be careful. The old what our parents used to say: if a person will lie, they'll cheat, and if they'll cheat, they'll steal, and if they'll steal, they'll kill.
So I guess my question is, do y'all think his wife should forgive him? If it was you, would you forgive him a second time?
Has to be her personal choice. And I feel like whatever she chooses, she really can't worry about like what other people think, because this is on her. But I think, like Crystal said, I think people give Satan too much credit. We're all given a great degree of free will by God. Not necessarily that he hasn't predetermined our destinies, but in terms of how we get to those destinies, a lot of that is up to us.
So would you forgive?
I personally,
I think that
because this is one too many. You see what I'm saying? But that's just Whitney. I don't know that lady, so.
One of the things that we got to understand too is, not just Pastor John Gray is in the ministry. His wife sits in the ministry as well. So yeah, she's his wife, but she's also another shepherd over that church. And so she has a lot of hats that she wears. And so you have to say, if I say no to the pastor John, am I saying no to my husband John, my business partner John?
I think it's possible to work with someone and maintain a professional relationship without continuing the romantic or the personal one. You just have to be, both parties have to be willing to be an adult about it and think about things in terms of best monetary interests as opposed to, or what's best for the congregation as opposed to like what's best for, how they feel. It's one of those things you have to take your emotions out of it and just do the work.
I think I might just be too petty. I might be too petty. Like, no, we can't work together. You done cheat on me twice in front of the church. Like, no. maybe I'm spiritually not there. You see what I'm saying? So for me, no, like the first time he embarrassed her. Let's just be clear. He outright embarrassed her. And I think that goes back to what we keep saying. They do not protect the black woman. Why you gonna embarrass me like that in public, in front of the church, in front of the world? You gonna just embarrass me, and then I forgave you, okay? I found it in myself, in my heart, to forgive you, and then you go out and do the same thing again. Like, come on now. Like, not only did you embarrass me, you embarrassed the family. You made me look like Boo the Fool. Like, no, it ain't no working together no more. Let's burn the whole church down. Like, let's just start over. Let's just burn the whole church down. Huh?
Yeah, but like, I think she needs to forgive herself. I'm so sorry, but like, I think that there needs to be a separation between their marriage as well as the professionalism, because her approach was not that like, you embarrassed me. Her approach was that like, this is the other woman. One, she did not have any, she had pride in it. She said that it was the other woman, it was the devil. They came in and she blamed everything on outside external forces. She did not have any accountability of what was going on in her home. They didn't have any accountability of John's behavior. Nothing adds that. They just continue to blame other things like, oh, this was the devil. And I think that one thing you have to agree is that like, there has to be something internally going on with John. He does have a lot of insecurities and things like that. And so it's like, we're not going to assess John's behavior, and we're not going to assess like why he did it. What are his insecurities? We didn't do none of that. So I'm like, it's going to happen again until like someone addresses it. And there's therapy, there's other things going on, but I think that they can't work together, honestly, because think about it, like, they're in a church, and their expectation is that like, it's, they have a certain persona where they work together, he and I, and it's a business too. They have a brand. Are they going to break that brand as well? And so it's like, I don't know. That whole situation is, if I think it all honestly falls on both of them, not just John, because she allowed her husband to actually, instead of saying that like, he made a mistake or things like that, she allowed her husband to have that perception of him, and she also condoned his behavior and said that it wasn't him, it was the other woman. And that's the message that they actually like portrayed to the world, that she said, you fed to the little 16-year-old John, you did this and you did that. And she was speaking and addressing the other woman. She did not address her husband. And that's my concern. Like, your husband, it's you and your husband, not you, your husband, and the mistress. Because at the end of the day, I thought you guys were one. So I don't know.
For me, I agree with what you said, because it comes down to accountability. And I feel like the congregation and everybody, nobody's holding him accountable, because everything aside, Luke, I'm gonna bring out the scripture today. Luke 17, verse, I'm sorry, I can't see. Luke 17 and verse 3. It says, if another believer sins, rebuke that person. Then if there is repentance, forgive. So I'm not saying we need to rebuke him, but if it's saying, if I know that my brother has sinned, or I know that my sister has sinned, I need to talk to that person. Not saying that I need to judge that person, but we need to have a talk so we can move past this. Nobody wants to have a talk. Well, I'm sure people do, but his wife didn't seem to want to have a talk with him. Like you said, she just wanted to blame it on the other person. No, we need to talk about this. As a man of God, he should know that too. I have sinned, so why am I continuing to push it under the rug? Why am I continuing to have my wife out here looking crazy, blaming some other female when I know what I'm doing is wrong? So if he would hold himself accountable for his actions, the healing process can start. But until then, it's just going to keep happening, and it's just going to keep happening. The cycle is just going to continue. So that makes me question. I can't say anything about anybody's relationship with God, but that just kind of makes me question, are you really the man of God that God has called you to be, that we all think that you are, acting like this?
One
Do
of
y'all
the
think
things.
that she's numb? Do y'all think that she's numb? Like, do you think she's numb to the situation? Because I know for me, like, sometimes we just become numb to what's going on around us. So okay, so I know the first cheating scandal happened. Do y'all think he previously cheated before? He previously cheated before, so that's why she kind of took the position that she took. Like he had been, having emotional affairs way before they became big in the church.
So this is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna say. When he talks about growing up and that she was a coat too big for him to fit, all I hear is immaturity. That that's all I hear. I hear immaturity. Um, Marriage is something that it takes two given 100% to work. And if you're sitting here on national TV on the sister circle talking about your wife was mature and you were not, then you have to say, okay, if that was the case back then, moving forward, what can I do to mature to where she's at? If there was some cheating prior, I agree with Courtney and Theronda. It should have been some counseling or some healing sought to resolve that. Because you don't get over it, like Theronda said, by pushing it under a rug or blaming somebody else.
Are y'all reading the comments, the questions and comments coming at the bottom?
I'm not.
Yeah,
You're not.
I think it's a good point. We don't know, but we do know if she was, she's keeping hers under wraps.
Which is what you're supposed to do. Why is it that people are just starting? Okay, so I know having a mistress is wrong, right? It's morally wrong, and it tears apart the core of a family. But when did these mistresses and all of that and Mister get so bold to start recording stuff and sending pictures? And when did this shift happen? I thought we supposed to keep this quiet. Like, why are we telling everybody?
Clarice mistresses have always been bold. Think about the granddaddy generations. One stayed on one side of the town, the other one stayed on the other side of the town. They
Right,
always
but what she
bold.
wasn't doing is coming to my grandma's house.
The wife knew the mistress, and the wife knew how many kids. She knew the name of the kids. She knew when they was born. 9 times out of 10, they was born and coinciding in the years of her children. So it's not about them being bold or whatever. It's about, like I said, I what Theronda is saying. The mistress is an addition to. We got to talk about the foundation. We got to talk about the marriage. The mistress could not get in if it wasn't a hole for her to get through.
Well, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say that back in the day, because I probably shouldn't say this on live, but I have an uncle who can't be but like 7 or 8 years older than me. Maybe 10. I'll give him 10 top. He's 10 years older than me. So we like, and we knew, but it's not something we talked about. Like, we didn't, like, mine not, they could have known about the family on the other side of town, but what you're not going to do is come over to the house. That's what you're not going to do. Like, it was some level, for the lack of better words, of decency. When mistresses back in the day, now they just like, Why are you so bold when you were so wrong is what I'm trying to figure out.
I think what it is, especially nowadays with the whole social media thing, I think it's clout. Remember when T.I., it was that whole thing with T.I. and Bernice Burgos. I don't know that anybody really knew who she was prior to that. Now, if you think about it now, she has all these Instagram followers. She's, packing out clubs and things like that. So I really just think it's not even about the money for them. They know for that 15 minutes, their name is going to be out there, their picture will be out there, and they'll get Instagram followers. And I think that's really just what it's about. Because, tomorrow we're going to forget about her, but at least I did get that follow from you. So now within 15 minutes, I done got 100,000 followers. So I think it's just the clout for most people.
Well, to
So
be
what
to
about
tell you a little
non-famous?
bit more, about the mistress, her name. They did say her first name. Her name is Mary, and Mary is actually the sister to one of John's great friends, like that been in the ministry with him. And so you knew of Mary. Mary knew of your wife, and you used the same game on Mary that you used on the previous mistress about you and your wife are separating, y'all getting a divorce, So it's like you're using the same lines. It's the same pickup lines, it's the same lie. And at the end of the day, we have to say, he is a man. I get that, but you are a married man, and that's something you need to think about. I'm gonna tell you again. My biggest upset was when his son was in the car. Do not do stuff with my child. I'm sorry, y'all, but if it wouldn't have been no talking about nothing. You got my child talking to this strange woman. That's what I got upset about. That baby innocent. Send the babies to me. I ain't got time. Send the babies to me. That's what I got upset about. You do your dirt, but leave that baby out of it. To bring you guys up to date on
Disrespectful.
this topic, today me and my husband was streaming the live church service from Relentless, and as of today, he has chosen to step down and seek counseling. He said he was in counseling before, but he wasn't in the in-depth counseling where he needed to go to the root of the problem and pull it up and pluck it. He asked for the church to pray for him and his family during this time. And I'm gonna tell you, I said to you guys in the message, I said me and my husband had two different stances. The whole sermon, I was saying, get it out, speak the truth, say what you need to say. My husband was like, give him time. It's like he was slow walking the congregation again. And I told my husband, I said, how much time is too much? Because if he has made a mistake, he need to just come out and say, I made a mistake. I need to take time off. I need to go ahead, da, da, da. And it shouldn't have been scratched out for 45 minutes. I don't need 45 minutes for you to say, I'm sick. I need to go seek healing. I don't need 45 minutes for that. I need I need to go get help. Y'all seen the TV. Y'all seen the videos. Y'all see me up there talking about get your two-piece and it wasn't talking to my wife. Like, we don't need you to slow walk us down to what you're going to do. I will continue praying for his family. I will continue praying for him because I think that it's sad that you got to get caught up to go and do something that you should have did in the beginning. So that's the update. You guys tell me your opinions about his message today about seeking help and stepping away to do so.
Better late than never. Like, he needed help, so thank God he went and got it. I think one of the things that somebody said, I can't remember who, but oftentimes we put ministers and pastors on this pedestal. But they're just man, just like the rest of us, and they're gonna fall and stumble. And I think he did the best thing possible by stepping away, getting out of the limelight, fixing himself, figuring out the root of the problem. Like, I think he made the best possible decision he could have made. Better late than never.
Whitney, what do you think? Whitney?
I think the audio froze for a second. I'm glad to hear that he did step down today. If for no other reason than just to like take some time, like you said, to get himself together. I don't think that you can be as effective a leader and people take you as seriously. You lose some credibility when you don't take the time to like work on yourself. Especially with a problem that public. That's just, I mean, we shouldn't be so judgmental, I guess, generally. But, the fact of the matter is that humans are. I mean, so it's hard to put your faith in someone as a leader, especially when you know that they're not just like making, the mistakes that we all make daily, like saying a cuss word or like having an ugly thought when somebody gets on your nerves, but like blatantly choosing to do, to take things to the extreme. That's a little bit worse, or it looks worse to us as humans. So that was necessary. I do agree with you that I don't think it should have taken 45 minutes to tell you guys that. Like, just say what you need to say and get off stage.
Courtney, tell me what you feel.
So, yeah.
I agree with you guys. It doesn't, but I guess with him as a man, his pride is there. So I guess that's kind of why it took him so long to just try to come out and say it. With him saying that, that means that he has to admit that something is wrong, and we know that a lot of men have an issue with admitting that something is wrong within themselves. So I think part of it is he's just trying to deal with his ego being hurt and having to really deal with the learning that he needs to deal with these issues, whatever they are, because whatever it is, it's not something surface. It's something that's deep rooted, possibly something that's bothering him from childhood. So
and he speaks very fluently about his childhood, his father leaving, being sexually abused as a child, being molested as a child. He talks about those things. He's talked about losing his best friend. He talks about those a lot about those things, and he uses it in his sermon. One of the things he is transparent about those things in his life that he's dealing with. He has been very transparent about it. Theronda, tell me what you think.
I agree with Courtney. I think that, again, he has a lot of deep rooted issues that need to be resolved. And I think that, he just needs to focus on him. I do believe that when he does come out of this, it'll be a great testimony story. And I do agree that, like, some grace and some mercy should be shown to him. But I do believe that, like, he just needs to work on himself, and he needs to put the pride and the ego aside and just let God work on him. And so he can be a solid foundation for that church, and they can grow and learn from the situation. So that's how I feel about this whole thing. Like, I'm glad that he's taking the time to reflect and to find the root cause of these things. And I pray and I hope that he receives some healing and some restoration. But again, it needs to happen as soon as possible.
I do wonder, though, from what you said, Crystal, about the things that he discusses and he's transparent about in his sermons. Is it that he's more comfortable sharing those experiences with the congregation because, first of all, they happened a long time ago, and secondly, when those kind of things happen to children, they're not children's fault. Is he more comfortable explaining that to people because of the length of time that's gone by, because of the circumstances, than he would be explaining something that recently happened that is at least 50% his fault, if not?
To be honest with you, a lot of
That makes a difference.
When he did divulge a lot of that information, it was usually like in a sermon, like on the piggyback off a sermon or whatever. So I guess that was to bring a little transparency about what he was saying, if that makes sense. And you could be right, because that happened so long ago. He could be so far removed from that that he can be comfortable in talking to it. But one of the things that I would say is, you know, all of us are professionals, and we have seen this. We have seen an increase in this, especially the ones on here that are in the therapeutic or working with the public. You know, COVID has brought on a lot of divorces. Okay, you figure out you find out you really don't care for that person. You know, and things have run its course. And it goes for regular people. It goes for pastors too. It was this mega this other guy. He's divorcing his wife. She the one had the mister. Is it a mister or mistress? I go mister. She had the boy toy, and he discovered it and everything like that, and they try to work on it, and then come to find out the boy toy tried to extort him, and yeah, so he's going through a divorce too. And it seems like these are the times, these troubled times, is when you find out if you can continue on or not. I believe that he is stepping down to seek counseling and help, because at the end of the day, I mean, again, this is a partnership. And if we decide to do something, or you decide on your own to do something, and it's not in the best interest of us, then, you know, companies have closed down. So I think that he is taking the time to seek help, because I'm thinking about his wife. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it if you build to a certain lifestyle, it costs to keep me. Are you willing to pay for that and those trips to Cambo? Which one can you afford? Child support? A little counseling? Or child support for 2 kids? And he can eat all the pizza he want to eat.
Well, you know what the old people say. The old men, they like to say it's cheaper to keep them.
It is. One of the bloggers, he sings a song. His name is Larry Reed Live, and he was the one that was bringing a lot of this up with the first mistress, because the first 2 mistresses actually talked to him and had like the receipts and stuff. And he came up with a song, and he was saying, this is how you keep yourself out of trouble. And the name of the song was like, keep your hoes happy. Oh goodness.
But do we think it's up to him now? I feel like it's not up to him. I think that his wife has more say in this now, because she has to make the decision whether she wants to stay with him or not.
So my question will be posed to you guys: would you stay?
No, but
you guys say?
I said no already. But I am.
Whitney, we're not moving out that house, Whitney. I'm your friend, okay? We're gonna work through it.
Okay,
and we ain't
but staying.
No Lambo back. We ain't giving no Lambo back, Whitney.
No, I mean that has nothing to do with am I in a relationship with you. That's your problem. That.
What you gonna do is get your hat, your coat,
right? That's completely separate.
What you gonna do? You done embarrassed me 2 times? Two whole times? Whole times.
I mean, yeah, I feel like at this point, the ball is in her court. I mean, you know, like Clarice said, 2 times at this point, she has some leverage. I would let him know the better. Hope that I'm nice to him.
She got other adventures. She's doing other things. She actually signed on I guess I forgot the guy, but she's doing modeling. She had a photo. She had a a layout on a magazine. All of this can be found on her Instagram page. So she's doing her own thing too. I mean, she was going back into the dance ministry and things. If you guys notice, she is slimming down. She has slimmed down significantly, and so she put a picture up, and she had on her bathing suit and stuff by the pool, and she said, "If unbothered was a picture," and that's what she put on there.
Personally, the flesh part of me, F him, let me get this check and we're gonna keep it moving. But I guess on the flip side, they are married, and it is, to me, in my opinion, and I'm not married, but in my opinion, that's something that I would take very seriously. And I don't know, maybe she feels like she needs to try to continue to work this through him because they got married. It's they got they have children and things like that. So I just think in my opinion, maybe part of it is I need to try to work this out. The vows stay through thick or thin. Maybe that's what she's trying to do. I know I probably wouldn't. I don't have patience. I don't have time. But that's just me saying that now. I don't know if I was married, I might say something different. Um, I guess it just depends on how far people are willing to take their vows.
I think that um, when we look at religion and we look at things like that, many may say that she should stay because things like that. But I don't see it that way, because the order of the hierarchy in God is God, me, my husband, and then the children and things like that. And so if God's first, and God's word tells me that, husbands, love your wives as Christ loves them, and you're not doing the same thing, then that to me is like, I'm gonna have to have a talk with Jesus and say, Lord, is this something that you want me to do? Because at the end of the day, I did make vows, but your word says this. And so what do you want me to do? And I think that's a conversation that I would have before I made any decision. I would continue to pray and seek guidance from the Lord, and just go in hibernation and just do that. Because the word, I think that when you read the word in depth, the word does say that, that your husband should treat you in a certain way. And if your husband does not treat you a certain way, there are certain things that you should do. There are certain steps that you should do beforehand. So I think that she has to, if she wants to go by the word, then maybe, couples counseling, and then seek pastoral counseling as well. But did that happen the first time? And then this happened because 2020 is the year of revelation. And I don't know. I'm just saying. I think I would separate for a while, even if I choose to get back to her. I would definitely be separate from him.
What you just said really just kind of brought clarity to everything. And what you said was powerful, because the Bible does say that, the man is supposed to love his wife like Christ loved the church. And, that's not how he would treat his church. So why should a man treat his wife like that? And so what you said to me was just really powerful when you put it, if people want to put it biblically, you kind of just have to pray and think about it like that. Is this something that God wants me to go through? I don't think he's created us to deal with things like that. He didn't create us to suffer and be in marriages where we're being disrespected and abused mentally, physically, and things like that. So I just think you said a whole word, and I agree. Definitely. And that just makes me put things in a different perspective. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, can you guys hear me?
Crystal, I think we're losing you.
Okay.
Are you all seeing freezing?
Yes.
Okay. I am
So
too.
we can all see each other. We just don't see her.
We can't see
I think that's what it is.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna work on some of this stuff, guys. One, we use StreamYard, but I will tell you it is not always the best. So we're gonna probably try to go with something else. Um, because we're running into the same issues. Every time we're recording, I'm running into the same issue. So my husband sets it up on his phone, but it always runs hot, and when it runs hot, it cuts off.
Hmm.
So that's one of the things that we're gonna have to make sure that we can set up. So now I'm on my phone, so I can hear you guys. So I got a question. Talking about when it says from the marriage and from if I can connect this. All right. Okay. See, I could have connected the whole thing. Okay, hold up. Okay. All right. Can y'all hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they talk about marriage and things like that, okay, if the first situation was true and he actually had an affair and he broke the marriage vows, okay, she under the law of marriage could have left the first time. She didn't have to give him a second chance. She did not have to. She did not have to forgive him. She literally had to write to end it because he broke the contract. That's marriage. That's how it goes. You can choose to stay in it. One of the things I think Clarice said is once a cheater, always a cheater. Now you see that repeat cycle because he never really got healing for it. But you also got to think about now you have a lot of people to leave the marriage with. 9 times out of 10, you're a mother, you have the children coming with you too. And then any business affairs and stuff have to be broken up and divided and things like that. Some things are worth fighting for, and she will have to think of if this marriage is worth fighting for. I feel like Pastor John is sick, and I don't think that when people look at the physical man, they know how sick he is. And when you think sick, people think, oh, health. No, sometimes you can be mentally sick and look healthy standing in front of you. That don't mean your actions are healthy or you're not thinking about other people that you're harming. I think she, as a wife, I think that she should never. And I'm all about perspective of person and roles. I think as a wife, it was never her job to get in front and defend his actions. He's the man, he's the head. Let him take that because he created that. And I think once she got in front of him and defend him, it goes back to what Clarice said about now you out here embarrassing me because I'm defending you the first time. I'm saying, oh no, it's not us, it's them, this person is doing it. And then it creates this, oh, now I have to be his savior. Now I have to save and protect him. But at the end of the day, he's the man of the house. So now the roles are reversed. Now things are out of order. Um, Another thing that I think that she probably has heard as a woman, we all on the phone, we all have been there. past relationships, some of our exes. What you do not want your significant other to do, or your spouse, is ever talk about you to another woman. You do not want someone to know what's going on in your household. You do not want no one to know what's going on into their marriage. I don't care if it is someone that you're real cool with, or your so-called work husbands or work wives. You never want someone to know what's going on with your spouse, because right now that's breaching trust. No one should ever know what's going on in your household. I think that he crossed paths. I think that everybody know you shouldn't have even crossed paths with your best friend's sister. That person knew you was married. So I'm trying to figure out why she didn't just call or been like, you know what, you go ahead. Oh, we separated. Everybody know that's the oldest line in the book, that a married man say, we separated. Separated don't mean divorce. And everybody knows that. Separated don't mean divorce. Divorce mean divorce. That means you no longer are legally obligated or tied to that person. So I think that all of them are adults, and only people that are suffering is the kids, because they have to see this. Social media, like you said, Courtney, is live and in color. And if something goes down or go wrong or separate in this family, it will be a stamp in time that the children can see, and they can see it played out over and over again with each recording of each blogger. So I think that with this situation is saddening, because it's just not about the marriage between a husband and wife. You're talking about the leadership of a congregation. You're talking about mommy and daddy of kids. You're talking about friends and relatives, and everybody knowing the divorce. People choose the sides. They choose who they're going to go with, who they're going to ride with, who they felt was wrong. So I think it's a lot of factors. But I do applaud him for stepping down. I applaud him for seeking help. Hopefully he's seeking the right counseling. He said he was already in counseling previously. I think he need to fire that counselor, and I think he need to seek one that's going to be truthful. A lot of times people say it based on who you are and not what you're going through. I think he needs to seek one on what he's going through. If you have some sexual exploration or something you want to do, and your wife not down with it, and you seeking it somewhere else, then that's something y'all need to talk about. Courtney, I'm not going to go as far to say that I feel like he is playing for the other team. I'm not going to say that. I think that if he is, I think that it's his truth, and he need to say it in his time. I would never have somebody and speak somebody else's truth. I think that's what he want, that what he want. But I do feel like it saddens me, because him being a black man and her being a black woman, we already got all this stuff and negativity in the news. You never wanted to be more. You never wanted to outshine what we're trying to build here. And what we're trying to build is a stable family for our kids and our generation to come. So I done said a lot because my screaming is working. Oh goodness, do you guys have anything else to say about it? I know that was a lot. It's a lot of moving factors. I will be keeping you guys update. I will be sending the text to you guys, but that was the information that we got this morning about them, about him actually stepping down. And it was just him sitting on the stage on a stool talking. His wife was not there. I mean, a couple of times doing it, he got choked up. Because I mean, I feel like sometimes it was like a child. You know how you tell a child not to do something, and then you asking them, and they like, well, I know I'm in trouble, so I should say something now. I felt like that's what it was giving me. It was giving me kind of, they making me do it. And I'm pretty sure his wife and her attorneys are making you do a lot. Because if she ain't lawyered up, she a fool. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be trying to take a Lamborghini. And I won't let them take my Lamborghini truck. You know you got to be on the waiting list to get that Lamborghini truck. Oh, no. You ain't thinking about Lamborghini truck. So the new girl can drive your truck. So the new girl going to have your truck, Clarice. The new woman going to have your truck.
What I'm trying to say, though, is did they use the church money?
You better stop. No, what he said was he has other revenue of income, which he did. I think Theronda talked about it. He had a book out. Remember, he had like 2 or 3 books out. Remember, he had the show, the Book of John, on Oprah. And you also remember before he came to South Carolina, he also was assistant pastor at Lakewood Church in Houston. So he had other streams of revenue.
But enough to buy that?
If the man was getting on a private jet to go to Cambo with a girl that he said bring the 2-piece, I'm pretty sure he had that money stashed. Now, what I'm gonna say is, you also got to think about it. It came out that he did not buy the $250,000 Lamborghini cash. What he did was put a big down payment. You know how we do. You put that big down payment and then you make monthly payments. I don't know how that is. Y'all add it up. I don't know how much that is a month. But yeah. But yeah, I can see her being embarrassed and being and that has to hurt. Because you know one thing people are is ruthless. And kids can be the ruthless of them all. Kids will walk up to you and call you fat. Kids, they just, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know what they're saying. Oh, look at that. Like, you know, one of my niece, like, I was walking with her and she said, Auntie, look at that old lady. And the lady looked surprised at me, like I told her to say it. I said, hush your mouth, girl. You know, kids just say stuff. So you have to be mindful the environment you put them in. But yeah. So all of y'all saying that y'all would not stay?
I didn't say that. I just said that I would separate from him and pray and ask God for guidance.
So would you ask God and Raheem, which is your new pool boy?
No. I wouldn't even. That's a separate story, but I would not even bring somebody else into this messy situation.
My word for one of my words for 2020 was toxic, and that whole situation is toxic on so many levels. Just toxic, like, and I've been trying to not just tell people, but even myself, to stay out of toxic relationships, no matter the magnitude of the relationship. Just no, we're not doing toxic in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's enough bad mojo going around in the world. I'm not adding to that toxicity. So their whole situation is toxic. I don't know about divorce, but I am immediately packing my bags in my Lambo truck and I'm going someplace else. I'm getting out this toxic mess. Like,
girl, let me tell you, I'll be there helping you pack your stuff, you know, picking out some things I can take. But I'll be helping you. I got you, girl. Courtney, what would you be doing?
Well, like I said, in my head, like, you know how I am. I ain't got my purse to get ready to go, but I ain't got time. I do not have time for that. I don't. But, you know, it's still that other part, you know, where it's the religious side. So, I mean, I just think I would, you know, I'm kind of with Theronda, like, I would need time to pray. And I mean, like, secluded time, just me and him, because it's too much. It's a lot. And I hope that John is willing. If he says he's in therapy, I just hope that he's willing to do the work, because, you know, you see on TV, you lay on the couch, put your feet up, tell me how you feel. That's not reality.
It's not.
You know, therapy is supposed to make you uncomfortable. You know, that's when you know that it's doing its job, because you're uncomfortable. So I just hope that he is really doing the work and ready to change, because if not, the cycle is gonna continue. And she just has to be willing. If she's gonna do it with him, she's just gonna have to be willing that it's gonna get uncomfortable, it's gonna get hard, but if you're gonna stick with it, you just got to stick with it. So
you're saying that religion, not spirituality, but religion will have you moving your bags out, staying at my house while he figured it out?
I don't necessarily say that. I think that spirituality, I shouldn't say religion, you're correct. Spirituality will have you remove yourself from the situation and take time to talk to God and have him lead you to what you need to do. And where you're disconnected from everybody, because you don't need the opinion from your mom, you don't need the opinion from girlfriends, you don't need the opinion from nobody else. You need what God leads you to do. So whether he decides to tell you stay with it, or if he just tells you to, go your separate ways, but I think you need that time, and not just 10 minutes. Like, you need time, days, weeks, possibly. It may even take months till you hear from God. But I just think you do need to take that time to hear from him and be willing to hear what he has to say and not hear what you want him to say.
Miss Whitney, what was your answer? Would you stay or would you go?
I agree with Theronda and Courtney. I've been in a situation where I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do in terms of staying or leaving, and I did need about a week to myself to just be by myself. And one of the things that I based my decision on was, how am I feeling now that I am by myself? Do I want to go home, or is this like better for me? How am I feeling in that day to day? Do I feel like I miss this person? And, I am willing to set aside what is going on? Or do I feel like, nah, this is like actually making me feel more comfortable, more at ease? So, and just having that time to reflect on your own, I do think that's important. I know me personally, if I feel like I can't trust someone, then it's not going to work, because one of my cardinal rules in dating is that if like I constantly have to like wonder what's going on, or I feel like something's going on that I'm not maybe aware of, if I'm always paranoid, then it's not worth it. I can't, walk around on eggshells mentally and be comfortable in a relationship. So if it's got to be all that, then never mind.
One of the things that I would have to do is be honest. I will have to work. We will have to work through couples counseling, individual counseling when the first time it happened. Now we're a few mistresses in. Okay. So I will have to either accept this is my husband and he got community peen. Okay. Sometimes you just have to, okay, all right. Sometimes you have to accept facts. My husband like to share handshakes and community ping. I mean, or I have to make a decision: is do I want to be a part of the community, or do I want to go out and start fresh and start something and look and seek someone that is truly meant for me? A lot of times we enter relationships and marriages saying, "Oh, God spoke to me." I don't know who spoke, but it wasn't God. Sometimes we marry the idea of people, and that's not what it is. And so I think that her and him need to sit down and see, is this still truly what they want to do and what they want to work on, because marriage is hard work. It's nothing to play with. It's hard work. So if this something that they're willing to tolerate and deal with and go forth with, or have we stopped playing house and it done ran this course? um I wish them well. I will keep praying for them. Would I stay? I'm gonna tell you the truth. I would not. This is mistress number 3 or 4. I would not. Obviously, you want somebody to replace me because you've been looking for replacements. So I probably would not. I probably would pack me, my children, and man pizza because he got to eat. And like Clarice said, I will load up the truck and I will be like, call my attorney, okay? And you talk to my attorney. Have your counselor call my attorney. They talk to my attorney, because it gets to a point where in this world, sometimes only thing you have is peace, and when that's destroyed, then you feel like you have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to turn to. And so I don't think that I would stay, being that this has been a pattern. And, zebras don't change their stripes, and people are behaviors are pattern. And I am spiritual and I believe in redemption and I believe in that and all that. But I think that when you're in the now and you're in the know of what's going on, you have to make your decisions like you know, and you know that this is what he's doing. So I would not stay. I would leave, and I will start fresh, get my mind together. And you get what I'm saying? I'll be in these streets showing off all this weight loss and stuff, being on album covers and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? And then I will be making sure that your check, child support, spousal support, because I have to keep my lifestyle, is directly deposited into my account while I seek to find a new daddy for my children. In that order. So, ladies, thank you guys for an awesome podcast. Sorry about the freezing and all of that stuff. We're probably going to go to another forum because this one is not working well, and it's not working continuously like it once was when we first started. So we usually close out, and when we close out, we usually say our name, where people can find us on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and whatever businesses we have in the works. We're going to work on that other form to make sure that we can have a list of all your information. We do share this online, such as like Facebook and things, so people can come to the forum and read them. We do have a gentleman corner. Excuse me. We have a gentleman corner that usually films before us on Saturday. I think they will reconvene on next Saturday. So we will still continue on our Sunday. So signing off, we're going to have Whitney start. What's your name? Where can we find you? Your business adventures, anything we need to look out for in the future.
Okay. I am Whitney Wright. I have that name on Facebook. On Twitter, I'm at Whitney Be Like. I am currently a human resources consultant, full-time. But I also do consulting on the side for human resources, marketing, and operations optimization or efficiency. And then I am a notary, and hopefully I start with short-term stay rentals soon as well through Airbnb and some other platforms.
Miss Theronda?
I am Theronda Myers. I just need to say this because it's in my spirit. I just think that, like, given the conversations that we've had today about, this whole family, but it all evolves around women. And I think that, especially as a Black woman, we are so strong, but yet, and still, we have a lot of burdens. We have a lot of things that we carry. And so I am using this plug, not for my personal business, but also for suggestion. I think that given the fact that there's a lot of things going on in the society in this day and time that can be burdens and carry a lot of weight on us, I think that, as Black women, we deserve and we should continue to seek mental health.
I need to, Theronda, you're staticky. Like, we can't hear what you're saying, and I want everyone to hear it.
Can you hear now?
It's like when you talk, it's a little staticky.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, but you guys are going to get this word today. Okay,
now it's clear. Go ahead.
Now it's clear. All right. I was saying that I think that it's in this day, it's so pivotal as a Black woman that we make sure and ensure that our mental health and our emotional health is at optimal. There are so many things going on today that we just need support and help, and we just need a lot of different things that other people don't necessarily see. And so I am encouraging all my Black women to either speak to a friend, speak to a counselor, and with that being said, if you're in Massachusetts or if you need any counseling or anything like that, you can always, I have my own counseling. It's called Abide Integrative Services. I personally specialize in women's issues as well as sexual assault. So if you have a myriad of concerns for your mental health, or you just need someone to speak with, you can reach me at Abide Integrative. It's Abide Integrative on Instagram as well as Facebook. You can also go to www.abidebyme.com, and that is my website, and you can check it out. Thanks.
All right, Miss Courtney, because Clarice computer died.
I'm Courtney Mucklin. I can be reached at Courtney Mucklin, Mucklin, on Facebook. And I don't have anything, I don't have any businesses, but I am really, really big. I'm big on mental health, but I'm also big on sexual health as well. So for anybody who just needs to be tested, it's important that everyone knows their status. Black women, especially, I'm sure everywhere, but I know in South Carolina, Black women have the highest rates of new HIV cases. So it's just important to know your status, not just for HIV, but for all other diseases as well. So if you have any questions or you just need to be tested, I can do free confidential testing at no cost. So just hit me up.
And I am Crystal Salam. I can be found on the platforms of Facebook. I do have a Twitter. I do have a Instagram that's under my miniature schnauzer that's named Winston Lugoshi. My husband runs it, but you can follow all the updates on my crazy little doggy. I currently will be launching my business in the next few weeks. And it's called Let's Make It Crystal, where it is a designing business. I specialize in grapevine wreaths. I specialize in decors of all kinds. So that's something that I feel God was already saying, go ahead and do it. Use the works of your hand. I've been doing it for a long time. And I'm so full with love to understand that a lot of my family and friends was like, go ahead, we support you. And I think that is great. Also, we are using my husband YouTube with his dark side YouTube page, where him and his guys, and he also is a moderator for us. So he's behind the scenes working things. He also does tutoring on the weekends. He also do mentorships. He also fix computers and create and design and run websites. So if you need any of that, you can contact him, Jackson Salam, or you can contact him at jsalam, which is SALAMI @gmail.com for all information. So, Clarice, you can find her as Clarice Thomas on social media, and that's on all her platforms. I think one of the platforms, Instagram, is Reese21. Because we call her Reese, but it's Reese21. She also is one of those good friends of mine. Me and Clarice have been friends for so many years, since sixth grade. We actually even crossed the same sorority at the same time. We went to the same college. So she's really good. I know she's in the military, so I keep her spirits lifted, because she is correct. She's surrounded by testosterone all the time. So that can be draining. So let's keep her lifted. We had a few other women that was not able to join us tonight. One is Trinica. Trinica will be with us, I guess, in the coming weeks. And then we had Desiree Rivers that's usually joining with us. She can be found on platforms, first name, last name basis. She's another one that I taught one-on-one about the issues that was plaguing us with John Gray, and all of those things, because she also is in that church as well. So it's one of those things that we do talk about. And I would have loved for her to give her opinion about the situation, or how she felt about the situation. But she had a prior prearranged engagement for tonight. So she will be joining us next week. So all hearts and minds are clear. Thank you, ladies. And like I said, we're going to try another screening service, because for some reason we kept losing each other. And we don't want that. We want the message to get through loud and clear. Okay? All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.